Hello, welcome back to MagicDoor Tutorials. Today we're going to be going through all things leasing, leasing templates, leasing signing, how to actually get that signed lease into your MagicDoor account and out to your tenants. So we've got kind of a two-step process. First, I'm going to show you how to set up your lease template. So first, go ahead and log into your MagicDoor account. You're going to navigate over to leasing and press lease templates. So here you can create a category for any lease template that you want. You can add a new category by pressing this upper right hand corner category button and then entering in any name. This is great if you have a mixed portfolio, residential, commercial, if you want to do it by state or by city or single family versus whatever you want. You can make as many categories as you want. So for right now, I have residential and we're based in Nevada, so I just added in a Nevada lease template. We are going to have leases available for you to download eventually, but for now I can link a free lease template down below, or you can upload any one that you have. So then you are just going to drag and drop or press this plus and just add that lease in. Now I already have it, so I'm gonna go ahead and click on the lease. So this is how we actually make the template. So this is going to be your lease template, and I'm just gonna run through quickly how you're gonna fill this out. So a couple things to note. First, you can title your lease up here. You can also select the category, and then you can select how many signers there are. I'm just gonna put 2, which would be me, the property manager, and the tenant. You can have up to 10 signers. Now, the most important thing is that you select which signers is the property manager or landlord. So in order to do that, you can just press on that signer, and then if you check the PM button, that means it's the property manager. Uncheck it, that's going to be a tenant. So I'm going to have signer 1 as the property manager. Now we have all these annotations. I'm just going to quickly run through these. So to start off this lease, this is the template. So you don't want to do anything specific for a tenant, just what's going to be on the template. So you have landlord's name. So I'm selected on me, the landlord or property manager, signer 1. I'm going to press name, and then you click on it and then click where it goes. And then in the bottom right, you can drag it out. In the top left, you can move it around. Then we have mailing address. So I'm going to add a text box here. And this is where I would enter in my mailing address. Then we have tenant's name. So I'm going to move off of signer 1, go to signer 2, which is my tenant, click name, and then click next to tenant's name, drag that out. Now, the property address is going to be something that autofills based on the lease information. So I can click autofill, click here, and this is the property address. There's actually a lot of things you can do with autofill with the lease and the units. You can do address, and you can do start date, end date, rent, deposit. So we'll get to that in a second. Now, if all your resident types for this lease are, let's say, apartments, you can use that check mark here and just go ahead and have it be on the template like this. But if this is a template that could be a house sometimes, an apartment sometimes, then we would actually do that on the specific lease. So I'm just going to press this remove button. And I'll show you how we edit the specific lease for a tenant versus the template. Now we have our term, our start date and end date. Once again, these are autofills. So it'll pop up as address, but then we can just click up here and change it to start date. And these will autofill based on the lease. So if it has to do with something that could be autofilled with the lease, then we can use autofill. If it's specific, you don't want to use autofill. Monthly rent, that can be autofilled based on the lease. So we'll change that to rent. So on and so forth. Just do that throughout your entire lease. Use the check marks if you need to. So you have text, check marks, autofill, dates, signature, initials, and name. So if I go to the bottom of my lease, this is where we have signatures. So I'm going to click signer 1. Make sure you're changing which signer you're using, and add my name as signer 1 and my signature as signer 1, who is the property manager, as well as the date. Then I'm going to switch to signer 2 and do the same thing for what would be my tenant. Signature for the tenant and the date for the tenant. Okay, so once you have everything filled out for your template, just go ahead and press save. Now this is going to be how your template looks every single time you start a lease with this, for instance, me, the Nevada Standard Lease Agreement. So now I can go to leases, and this is how you actually send out a lease. So I'm gonna click on one of my tenants, and I'm gonna go over to signings on this bottom section, and I'm gonna add a new document. Now this is how we can actually adjust that template and get signatures. So my tenant here is Harry Potter. We're gonna say this is lease, and let's say Kelly is the property manager. I'm going to use my Nevada lease. But if you needed multiple leases or a pet lease or anything like that where you would have to add on more than just the lease, you can add as many of those on here. And let's say here's a test one. Let's say this is like for pets and this tenant has a pet. You can make it first, you can make it second, you can change the orders, you can remove it, you can add it. So you can do more than just the lease at once to send out for signatures for this tenant. So just add them all here and then press next. So what I'm seeing right now is a preview of what it would look like if it's actually filled out. Now, because we're now doing a specific lease, we can go in and add those specific details. So for instance, if this one's an apartment, let's go ahead and add that check mark here. We can fill out the specific bathrooms and bedrooms. Let's say it's a 3-bath, 2-bed. I can go through and say that they gave me a security deposit, so we'll put a check here. And I can put the amount and when we're going to return. We can put if there's going to be late fees or not. Just go through the entire lease and fill out everything that is specific to this lease that wasn't on your template and wasn't an autofill. So go through, do that, and then we'll just check and make sure that there are spots for signatures. And as you can see also where we had signer 1, signer 2, we also now have the actual name. So this tenant is Harry Potter, but then we also have my name, which would be Kelly, and it's already pre-checked as the property manager. So that's kind of the difference you'll see here. This is what it's going to look like when signatures are sent out. So once everything is changed, you can go ahead and press save. That's just going to save everything you just added. And then simply just press start signing, this upper right-hand button. Now, what this has done is sent this lease to the email addresses of everybody who was on the lease that I just sent. So I had 2 signers. I had my tenant and I had me, the property manager. I'm going to receive one in my email I can sign. They're going to receive one in their email they can sign. So as you can see, the names are already filled out. But if we go to the bottom, there are no signatures. Now, as this gets filled out, when people fill it out in their emails, you can see on the upper left who's signed, who's not signed. Obviously, neither of us have signed yet. 0 out of 2 signatures. You can also send a reminder, and you can even download it from here if you would like. Now, once it is signed, you can always find it in the lease files and also in signings. You can see we have 2 leases here that have been sent out. So if later down the line they need to sign something else, this is where you can do it. Just go through the whole process again, new document, and then they'll also be found here in lease files. So that's how you send a lease out for a signature, and I hope this helped.